So today we're going to talk about loneliness and just,
Like when you're lonely?
being by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you lonely?
I have lots to say about that, man. I have too much to say about that.
You like to play video games in your room rather than
I like
going
to
out.
read. I like quiet.
I know.
I like video games, obviously.
But I think there's a difference between solitude and loneliness.
Yeah. What is the
I
difference?
think you like solitude.
I do like solitude.
I think-
Loneliness, I guess, is when you're sad about it. What's the difference?
I think it's when it's affecting you negatively, when the solitude is affecting you negatively.
Well, you could still be around people all the time and
And-
be lonely.
And that's another
Right?
dimension. Yeah.
Yeah.
So deep, man. So sad.
What do you think it's sad, Father Danny?
What
Genuinely.
do I think? What is sad?
Do you think loneliness is sad?
I think it could be. I don't think we're meant to be alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's literally in the Bible, right?
Yeah,
good
literally
for
in
men
the
to be
Bible,
alone.
in
Yeah.
Ethiopia. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the first things that's revealed about the nature of man is that he's meant to live with others and for others.
We are social animals
Yeah.
by nature. Shout out.
So am I unnatural that I enjoy?
Um,
I think
Solitude?
you have a good balance. I don't think
Yeah.
you're like full solitude.
I agree. I find it very like tiring when I'm around people all day long. I was visiting Michigan last week for a wedding.
yeah.
Had a lot of fun. Saw my family. It was great. Saw people, friends, whatever. And there's something very fun and sort of even energizing about it, but to a limit. And it's like if I don't get my quiet time and it's just conversation and noise and there I find that just like debilitating,
Mm.
genuinely.
Your social battery gets expired,
That's one way to say it. Yeah.
You're the opposite of that, right? Kind of.
You might think that, honestly, just because but no, I really like to have alone time.
Which one do you like more?
Honestly, now in my life, I like my alone time.
More?
Honestly.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know about more. Like I still like to be social and go see people and stuff like that, and I can do it. But
Well,
yeah.
What do you think Jesus preferred?
I think he had a good balance too.
Yeah.
We see it in the scriptures.
Yeah.
He would go to a lonely place.
It says lonely place
It says
specifically.
lonely place.
Lonely place.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he would do that by choice. Whenever he had a chance, he would go and he would pray to the Father.
Yeah.
So,
But then I'm sure he also found it refreshing to spend time with his disciples or
Yeah.
quality time with people
Yeah.
that were lonely themselves, that needed someone to be in their company.
but then he felt a different kind of loneliness in the Garden of Gethsemane.
Yeah. Even though they're
Yeah.
with him.
Even
Yeah.
though they were there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's not just physically being around people. There's a kind of connection that
Mhm.
Yeah.
requires more than just physically being in the same place as
Mhm.
somebody. There has to be some
Yeah.
kind of care. You have to sort of care about the people and they have to care about you.
Mm.
Yeah, a relationship has to be in the middle. Like at that moment with the garden, they're with him, but they're asleep.
Yeah.
They're with him, but they're giving into their being tired, and especially in the time that he's in need of compassion from his friends on a human level. Why does the social battery run out as you get older? I think that's a
Is it,
thing.
you think it's an age thing?
I think it's a thing.
I think
For
you just
me-
have less energy,
For
man.
me, it is.
Letiwas.
Like yesterday, I not just
I-
me, but there was a house that we were gonna go to, family's house, but I knew that there were so many people there, and I love that family very much. But I knew that there were so many people there, and it was at the end of the day, and I just didn't want to be in a place where there was so much going on.
I think it
But
is
I,
just
I wasn't like that in years past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's something that has become present with me as I've gotten older.
Well, there's the duty that you feel to sometimes go and be with people, right? But then there's also the time that you need to spend for yourself so that you can
Mhm.
be recharged
Yeah.
and be able to be there for the things that really matter. Not that gatherings and stuff don't matter, but at the same time, you also have to have a balance, Like, I remember actually Bishop Sedhead,
Mhm.
God rest his soul, I remember one time that he was talking about the fact that he doesn't go often to people's houses and stuff
Right.
like that.
Right.
And he said that like the house that he lived in was like 15, 20 minutes away from the cathedral. And he said that's kind of one of the reasons why he's able to continue in his ministry is that he lives a little bit further out and that he has a lot of alone time, you know. And as a bishop, it's more like there's more demand for your time and for your work and for your presence with people than it is for priests. But he always made it a priority to have that time for himself.
I think God is in both for sure. I think God is in the quiet. We can find him in the quiet and in the solitude, and we sort of draw from. I mean, the way Christ seems to have done it is he would go out into the desert, and that's where he would commune with the Father in the most intimate way. But then once he would like be finished with that, he would go, and his love. It says he would sometimes he would go even with his disciples to like a lonely place, and when they got there, there's people waiting for them who need him, and so he would say he had compassion on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd, and God is in there in that too, where you love somebody else and put your own preferences aside to do what's needed for them. That's also God's activity. There's sort of love. The love of God is in both of those places. If you sort of look for it, because I'm thinking of like you and I, we have the very like real luxury of having quiet time. People that live in families that are especially in charge of families, fathers and mothers, really don't have that. It's very, very hard to get like a quiet moment, especially if you have like toddlers or something.
Yeah.
And so we're probably saying this, and some of the moms would be, and dads are like, "Oh my gosh, I wish I could have 5 minutes by myself." You know.
Well, you should have become a priest.
Too little, too late. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One day I was talking to a lady about that actually, and she was telling me how she was so overwhelmed and so stressed and you know, like financially, mentally, physically, and she has to care for her little kids and everything like that. And she told me, she's like I know what I need. She said, I need something that I can't really have right now. I need to go on a pilgrimage to this place and just stay in this place for like 2 weeks. I said, is it possible now? And she said, no. I said, okay, what's possible for you? What's possible for you to do right now?
That's a good answer.
On a daily basis. And you know, we basically got to a point where she found out that it was possible to, you know, take a few minutes to go and walk around, to go and just, you know, spend some good quality time with her kids and with her husband. You know, you don't have to think about how do I fix this and what do I need. You know, sometimes what you need is possible. You just have to think about how to do it.
Doesn't have to be. Sometimes we get the idea that it has to be this really extreme thing. Look at the Sabbath. The Sabbath was the sort of day of rest and communing with God. It wasn't an antisocial. It was a sort of social reality that everyone was doing, but that's a portion of the week. It's a day of the week. It's not, I need a 6-month vacation, or I need a week vacation, or I need this or that, or a retreat or whatever. Okay, if you can do that, do it. Awesome. If you can't, okay, you can make do with what you have. I don't have an hour a day. I can go and pray in the chapel, but okay. Maybe I have 5 minutes. Okay, then make the best of that 5 minutes and be grateful for it. You know, God can do a lot with just that little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
So sometimes solitude, being alone, is good and it's needed because of everything that you guys just said, and also because of the example of Jesus himself to be intimate with the Father. And I think for his own preparation, you know, on a human level to begin his ministry, like when you look at the temptations in the wilderness, that was a great deal of intimacy that I think he had to foster with his Father. And we see the product of it. We see how he was able to overcome Satan in a prayerful way after such a long and gruesome period of fasting. But I think there's also, like we were kind of saying in the beginning very briefly, this negative aspect of being alone, this part that hurts, because we're not meant to just stay alone. We're not meant to just be left alone without human contact, without human relationships, fruitful ones, of course. So there's this part that does hurt of being alone. I think it's good to take some time to talk about that for sure.
Yeah.
One of the first things that comes to my mind, if we're going to look at the example of Jesus and what we see in the gospel, when there's parts of his life where he's been betrayed, he's been set aside because of the weaknesses of others. I think that one thing that's still in the middle of everything he's trying to do is the question of how can I still give how can I still love? How can I still be aware of work that I need to do in my ministry, even though I've been left alone in this position, like especially when we get to the hour of his passion? Because it's very sad to see him all by himself, especially after everything he's given, without having held anything back to his apostles, especially. It's very sad to see him having been sold by Judas, having been betrayed by Peter, and then having to go through knowing that he's about to die and the way that he's about to die. It's very sad to see that.
It says they all abandoned him.
Yeah. But he's still doing what he needs to do. He's still working. He still knows there's something to do, some work of love that he needs to do. That's part of his mission on behalf of his Father. I think that's something for us to think about. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I think there's a way to do both of them well and a way to do both of them badly. You know, I think there's a way to be, like we're distinguishing between solitude and loneliness. Solitude is doing this well. Loneliness is doing it badly. Social life, similarly, there's a way to be with others that's life-giving and love-affirming and sort of, you know, like being with others in a way that there's genuine human connection. And then there's a way to be with others where like you use them, you have expectations of them. You want basically to only receive from them. How can they help me? How can they distract me? And there's a sort of selfish orientation towards it where they're not really human companions. They're tools that you're using for yourself. And people sense that. And when, like, I mean, I can sort of tell just by the way somebody, like the look in their eye, when they come up to me and they say, "Oh, how are you, Father?" And like, or just when they walk up, just the way they look, I know that they need something. Have you guys been able to do that?
Of course.
You can just sort of tell, okay, what's up? I'll help you, but like I can tell you're not asking how I am because you care. You're asking how I am to get it over with so that you can get to the point. Fine, that's just a part of life sometimes. But if that's sort of the entire like persona of the person, don't be surprised when people don't want to spend much time with you if you don't actually care about them. You know, sometimes I've had like relationships with people for months and months and months, and it's just natural. I'm a priest, and I'm always, "Oh, what's going on with you?" Blah, blah, blah. And then a year later, I realized, "Oh, actually, I don't remember the last time they asked about me and what was up with me." Okay, that's fine, but like, don't be surprised when I'm going to choose to do something else with my time eventually. You know what I mean? Similarly with loneliness, if you're by yourself and the second you're by yourself, you can't handle it, you go right on your phone, you need to be distracted, you're not even letting yourself feel the peacefulness of solitude. It's like you're afraid of it. And because of that, and I mean, again, maybe this same thing with people in families, you don't let yourself settle down and let the noise go away. And you go right on your phone, you go right on TV, or you know, you watch TV or whatever. You've wasted the time you could have had. That's quiet. And then your kids now get back from school, and the whole day has been noisy. And now your kids are noisy. Okay, yeah, no surprise. You're stressed out.
There's no recharge at that point.
There's no recharge, and you're not letting. It's sort of your fault now. You do have those a couple hours a day when the kids are not around. You could use that for quiet time. Again, I'm not saying in every situation. There's many situations where there's just nonstop and you can't help it. I get that. I appreciate that. But in other cases, you can. You know.
So there are some people like that are around people all day or for a lot of the day, but there are also people that are literally not around people. You know, like they go to work or school and then they just come home and they just don't really have any plans. You know, and then they go on social media and they see people hanging out with each other. And that just feeds into their, lonely state. And
no, I mean,
and it's very sad.
In that case, dude, no, go make some friends. Figure it out. Go to youth night. What is it called?
Young adult night.
Yana?
Yeah.
Everyone calls it Yan, by the way. It's like the name that everybody uses. It's old bit.
Oh, that's the point.
You go to that. Go to church. Go to daily mass. There's a lot of like people that go to daily mass and like see their friends afterwards and stuff like that. Go to social. There, you do need some of it. There's a way to be lonely and cozy in your loneliness because it's so comfortable just to be by yourself and not care about anybody else. That's really destructive too. You know, you see all the different ways to
there's a lot of different
ways to
ways.
Mess it up. Yeah.
And there's a lot of different like forms of loneliness that people go through. And, like, what do you do at that point? Like you mentioned, go to a youth group, go to a young adult night, go to something. Okay, let's say you go.
Mhm.
What do you do? How do you, people have their friend groups, right?
Right.
Like, how do you get into a friend group naturally, organically?
Yeah.
Hey,
That's hard,
I'm
man.
gonna answer that in a different way. I think it's more on the people who don't struggle with that have a duty as Christians to identify that. I think it's a big act of charity and love, and I know sometimes it could be awkward to do that, but it won't kill you to walk up to someone and say, start a conversation.
That's really good.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think staying in the mentality of my little friend group, this is my group. These are the people that, that I want to talk to because I only enjoy their company and things like that. That could be very shallow as well, because we have to be Christians at some point, we have to show it through our actions at some point. And I've seen that go a long way. I've heard from people that said, I came here, whatever activity it's been, I came here, I didn't really know anyone, but it was really cool. Someone came up to me and just said, hey, I saw you're wearing like a Star Wars shirt or something like that, and started a conversation, and they're friends,
You're right. That's amazing when that happens.
Yeah. So getting out of this, like the mentality of clickiness and moving outside of that is something, it's a duty for all of us. That's what I'm basically
That's
trying
really
to
good.
say.
I like that. And then on the part of the person that's there and doesn't know anybody, be patient with the, like, so the one part is we need to be inviting as Christians, and even like it's works of mercy. Go and visit people in prison and hospital and stuff like that don't even have access. All that is amazing. On the part of the person who is sort of isolated, let's say they're new in a city or something, or for whatever reason they don't have a lot of people to spend time with. There is a kind of patience required on their end because, okay, I'm going to go and be with these people, but it's also wrong to think I'm going to be just as comfortable as they are, or I'm going to get okay, there's going to be inside jokes. It's okay.
There's going to be group chats.
There's going to be groups. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So don't feel like offended if the people that have known each other for 20 years act like that, and you're not quite inside out. Okay, that's fine. Give it some time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you also have to be content at the same time with yourself and with your life, so that you're not coming off as being very needy for these people's attention. You know, at that point, it's not a really organic thing. It's you kind of trying to force yourself into a group or into a friendship, and friendship doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it has to be by choice.
Yeah, you can't.
It has to be willing. Yeah,
you can't be too pushy. You can't be too needy. It has to, come in that natural way.
Similarly with even dating, like there's so many ways to just be awkward, but we don't like culturally. It's hard to sort of pin down what's normal. Well, how do you say it? How do you approach somebody? And then and then you get rejected, and okay, that sucks, but okay, that's not the end of the world. And then I've seen people where there's like obsession. There's people like, oh, I have to make her say yes. No, at some point you just accept that you're not going to be friends with everybody. You're not going to ever, and you move on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Move on. That's a normal, healthy, like you said, be content with yourself. You're not going to die if you're not dating this person.
Yeah.
Not the end of the world.
So
or you're not part of that friend group or whatever. Yeah.
So you have that type of loneliness, and there's the other type of loneliness of the people that we kind of alluded to and spoke a little bit about, which is the person that is around people all the time, and yet they still feel that loneliness. Like maybe like it's like when they go home and they like enter their room after the conversations, after the hangouts, everything, and maybe it's a high energy person as well, and you're just sad. Like that's another type of thing too.
One thing I would say about that, and I think there's two reasons why that could happen. Someone could, really be in a depressive mode or something like that. And also it could be just someone who struggles with loneliness in a general way. So to answer that question, I would encourage that person, if they feel lonely, even in the midst of, friends and acquaintances and people around you, is maybe, try to make a move of finding yourself you know, and not trying to find yourself in other people. And I think knowledge of self helps with being able to not, you know, not have that be an issue when you're around people. Because at least when I start to know myself, I start to have knowledge of my vices, my strengths, my weaknesses, and things like that. And I won't all of a sudden be surprised if I'm pushing people away or something like that. You know,
I think the same goes with relationship with God. Like we can sort of overthink even praying and being friends with God.
Yeah.
Like, okay, oh, what am I supposed to do to pray? How am I supposed to pray? Am I supposed to do this and feel a certain way and say certain words? And look, this is your Father who loves you. This is Jesus, the Son of God, who's become our brother through his incarnation. This is the Holy Spirit who dwells in your heart. These are persons that love you. Connect with them as yourself. You don't have to be anything other than yourself, especially with God. Maybe with other human beings, you know, we got to put on our best, like, maybe not, don't be fake, but like, okay, I'm going to wear deodorant when I'm around other people for their sake. It's not my natural smell, but I'm going to, you know, it's not being, or I'm going to, you know, be like, wear normal clothing or something like that. With God, you can be yourself completely because he sees your heart, and you just do that and just talk to him as yourself. And if you're feeling sad or angry or whatever, be that. If you're not feeling anything in particular, okay, talk to him about that. With God, we can truly connect and be ourselves in a way that we can with nobody else. And if we're lonely, a lot of times I've sort of like noticed people are not, it's not just loneliness, it's that they're lonely for a certain person. They miss one person. And because that one person, let's say they moved away or whatever, that one person isn't there, they don't want to connect with anybody else. That's a choice. And God is putting other people in your life, including himself, and you're choosing not to connect with any of them because you want this one. No, like the time thing, take what you have and do your best with it. And if it's okay, they're not the same as my other friend group back home or whatever, sure, they're not. But there's something. And God has put them in your life. Do your best with the situation you have, and you might be surprised. You know,
knowing yourself, knowing, you know, how you are and act, and also caring for yourself too. You know, like you have to care for yourself so that you are nourished, so that you're not relying on somebody else to, you know, make sure that you're at a normal state, but you are okay for yourself. And so you have to care for yourself. You know, you should go get your exercise, get your prayer, get your, you know,
sunlight,
whatever you need. Yeah. Sunlight, all that stuff, so that you can be there for others as well.
Yeah. I mean, the friendship thing, the connection with others, again, I've noticed a lot of times you have a conversation with somebody and it's just, you get talked at. And it's like, it's the person, I have this thing that I want to talk about. One time I was talking to this dude, I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Whatever. We were just kind of chatting. And then he had a motorcycle. And so he started telling me about his motorcycle for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And the guy didn't even breathe. It was just nonsense. And I'm like, if there's anything I don't care about in the world, I actually actively hate motorcycles because I don't like loud things. Yeah. And this guy's just blabbing. And I'm just like trying to be nice and walk away. And like, but it's just me and him. And I'm just kind of stuck there. Have some awareness, care about the person you're talking to. Hopefully not talking at them. You're just looking for like people to bully with your word, not even bully, like waste their time. You think that's what friendship is? No wonder you don't have that many friends, man. And the guy has no idea what my name was, what I do, or whatever. He just needed somebody to blab to. That is not friendship. That's not connection. And if that's what you think you need, you're wrong. You need to care about the person that you're talking about. And okay, and then there's back and forth. And like, oh, you know, I had a similar situation. Let me tell you about this. And then your story can be maybe as long as theirs, but not their story is 30 seconds and you're going for 6 hours. Yeah. Like I'm doing right now. Sorry.
No. Yeah. Going back to Jesus, he, you know, God became a man and he was part of a community from the very beginning, you know, like the Holy Family. And then he made it a point to make his group a community of people as well. And then that also turned into the community of the church, you know, the apostles, even after they were sent out on mission and they knew that they're going to die at some point. And so they established successors for themselves to kind of keep the church as that unity, which is a, you know, it's a way of us entering into the Trinitarian life, which is that's who God is. God is a community, and He wants us to also be part of that.
Yeah, there's a kind of extension. There's a connection between the life, the sort of social life of God in the Trinity and the social life of the church, which the Holy Spirit that kind of makes us alive and makes us the body of Christ. So it's the life of the church and the life of God are really kind of on a continuity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Made agrees. Yeah, go ahead.
It doesn't really help that the culture in which we live in the West is really individualistic. It really promotes individual achievement, praise of self, waking up every day and asking, how can I accomplish my goals today? It doesn't help that we live in that culture and that this mentality is constantly the mainstream. It's not really promoted to care and devote yourself to a local community, like a family, and then branch out from there. But we see, from our culture that's still within this Western culture, we're tied to our families. We're tied to these close at-home relationships that give us a source of support and make us, feel like we belong to something for a lot longer before we maybe fall off and become like victims to the Western mentality of individualism. So, it just doesn't help that the culture is not about looking out for the social nature of man that's inherited from the social nature of God.
Yeah, and I think that could creep itself definitely into the church as well. Like even when we're taught as seminarians and we learn as priests, like not to make even the parish about you, know?
Right.
Like there's a connection that a pastor and the priest have to the parish, but at the same time also it's not about you. Like the parish is part of the whole Catholic Church, and the whole Catholic Church is, it's the kingdom of God, and we can't make it about ourselves. And, maybe
It has to be about Christ.
maybe we've seen examples of even clergy that, try to make it about themselves. And it's sad at that point because you end up actually becoming very lonely at that point, because if you're working on your own to have your own accomplishments and stuff like that, then you've made yourself to work against your brothers,
Once Christ is out of the picture, and that happens maybe more easily than we would want, where like again we put our own ego in the middle of it. Yeah,
this could happen in the workplace,
in the family,
as well, in schools, on sports teams as well. Like when you make it about yourself, that's all you're gonna get.
The whole team is gonna suffer.
Yeah. And when you don't make it about yourself, when you can like humble yourself and know that you're part of this bigger community, this bigger team, you're gonna be nourished. You're gonna have that peace and that the true friendship that's gonna come as a result of you being able to be vulnerable, you being able to work with others and be with others.
That kind of touches on last week's gospel when Jesus gives a parable about being invited to a banquet. And, if you go and choose a higher seat, there may be a chance of someone telling you, someone more eminent comes and them telling you to sit in the back. And he encourages us to sit in the lowest seat so that, if there is space, they'll come and tell us, friend, go up higher. And there's obviously a lot of wisdom behind that, but one like illustration I think Jesus is doing, because he's obviously talking about humility, which is what you guys were talking about. When your only goal is to sit in the front, of course it's going to be lonely. You don't see anyone in front of you. You only see yourself and the position you're in. Whereas if you're sitting in the back, taking the lowest seat, growing in humility, you don't feel lonely all of a sudden because you see people in front of you. Even though they're in front of you, it's okay. But at least you're acknowledging that you were there, and there's people around you.
Yeah, Jesus, did that with his own life. Like he came from the highest place, heaven, and he lowered himself and became one of us, and he would go and sit and eat with the sinners and
tax collectors.
He wasn't like, I'm better than you. He just went and lived with them.
When you don't have the humility the Father Daniel's talking about, everybody else becomes either like an obstacle or competition
Mm-hmm.
or nothing to you. You don't even notice them, you know? And a lot of things can kind of twist our mind in that way. But again, all of these things cause loneliness in a deep spiritual sense. Or even if you're sort of around others and hanging out with people and you're chilling and you're at clubs and bars and whatever, oh yeah. But if those people are not people to you,
Mm-hmm.
even if they're like objects of lust, that's not a person. That's not going to fix your loneliness, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, sexual whatever activity, that's not the same as connecting with somebody heart to heart. That's not the same as love. And I read this book by Joseph Pieper every few years, Faith, Hope, and Love, and he has an essay on each of those three theological virtues. His essay on love is really long. But in that essay, he says, you know, even when people live this sort of overly sexualized lifestyle, and then they compare themselves to people that are sort of celibate, let's say, and they'll sort of make fun of us and say, oh, you guys, what you really want is like sex, but you're making up for it with like just, yeah, you're loving others, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But Joseph Pieper says, no, it's actually the opposite. It's people that don't feel any love in their heart that make up for it, attempt to put a Band-Aid on that with the over-sexualization of their life. So it's in fact what you're really looking for when you're full of lust. What you're really looking for is love. And lust is a sort of shadow of it that you think is going to satisfy you, but it's not. It's another kind of loneliness, really. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One time I heard an analogy for that. It's like you're constantly wanting steak, but you just keep eating McDonald's.
Yep.
Yeah.
But McDonald's is pretty good, though.
No, but
I'm talking about health-wise.
Yeah.
no, but like obviously when we go to heaven, there's going to be no sex there, right?
Yep.
So the point is that we're
So funny the way you said that.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, man. You're like so shy to say it. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, the point is that that when we go there, we're going to have the fullness of joy, and there's going to be no lustful desires there.
Right.
So the more we realize that now, the more happy and joyful we will be, you know.
And we accept I mean, you could sort of begin it now of, I'm going to be happy and satisfied with the act of caring about somebody else, loving them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a deep, deep joy that comes with that. And that's the kind of joy that's there in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, to continue from the last week's gospel reference, Jesus then gives instructions about how you should act when you have a feast. And you shouldn't invite anyone that you can gain a reward from.
Yeah.
You should invite people that you can only give something to, like the maimed, the lame, the blind, and so on.
That's the thing you were saying about reaching out to the people that are by themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. So in the context of this whole conversation, whether you're feeling lonely or you're causing others to feel lonely, like just to reflect on the question of where can I contribute to the work of love? Whether I'm the one that's feeling lonely or I'm causing others feeling lonely to feel lonely. Where can I contribute to the work of love? Because in that parable, in a way, Jesus could be referring to his Father hosting the banquet of the Mass that we gather at, where no one is there who can give God anything, because God doesn't need anything. And God, instead of remaining solitary, hosts that banquet and invites the maimed, the lame, the blind, the ones who are all sick and ill with sin. Yeah. So we can't give God anything. We can only gain from that banquet. We can only gain what he has to give us. So that's his work of not letting us stay lonely, not letting us stay alone in our state of lacking in love. And so that's a question to think about for us. Again, whether I'm feeling lonely or I'm causing someone else to feel lonely, where can I contribute to the work of love in that situation?
And God is the least lonely because he literally is a Trinity. And, you know, Jesus, although he had his moments of solitude, was the least lonely. And how did he do it? Is he gave himself completely. And we sometimes will do the opposite. We think we need to take from others. We need to take advantage of them. They need to serve us. But Jesus did the opposite. And if we really want that true fulfillment as human beings, we need to be like him and give of ourselves, like how God gives to us.
I think the analogy, again, I think I got this from Yosef Pieper. The analogy is, okay, a mother, let's say, is physically hungry. She hasn't eaten that day. And then her kids are hungry. Well, she's going to feel a kind of satisfaction in feeding her kids. Okay, now you guys are fed. She's still going to be physically hungry, but there's a more important thing to her, which is her love of her kids. That's the kind of love I think Christ is calling all of us to, all Christians to, of, okay, be hungry a little bit longer, feed the other person. If that's somebody who's homeless or who's in need in some other way, okay, take care of them first, and then you'll get the sort of grace of the Holy Spirit that is active in that way. There's a kind of higher satisfaction there. And then Jesus says, after you've served me, and that other parent served me, then you can go and eat. You're going to have time to eat. You will take care of yourself. But loving others is the best favor you can do for yourself sometimes. You know.
So the question becomes: did she lose her food, or did she gain the satisfaction of fulfilling her duty as a mother?
Exactly.
On that note, I have an idea for people who are on the one spectrum of the loneliness, that are just wanting to, hang out with people and wanting friendships and stuff. And this could apply to a lot of people, I think. Not everybody, but let's say you're just desiring those friendships and, being in a group and stuff like that, and you're just home. Maybe you have a sibling that is lonely as well.
Yep.
Or a mom, dad, a cousin,
grandparents
that's there in your home, that, is just, on Facebook or watching TV all day and is probably going through the same thing, and you're on your phone all day, looking at people's stories, desiring intimacy with people, and yet you have this person here. It's kind of like the story of the rich man and Lazarus. He had that man right there, and he just ignored him because he was feeding himself. So maybe go and spend time with that person. Try, make the effort. Yeah, it might not work at first, and don't go and want to gain something from that person. Go and serve that person.
That's good.
Be there for them.
That's really good. Yep. Volunteer dude, nursing homes. They're such hard places to be in.
Yeah, man.
Okay, go. Those people are go and talk to that person. Whoever it is. Go and volunteer, whatever,
I've definitely seen it in elderly people.
Yep.
I've seen families struggle to deal with them, and I feel so bad for them because the elderly people, they feel like their life is ending and they're not of use to these people anymore. And the people are living their lives and they're working and all that stuff, and it's just sad that they feel like they're unwanted.
So that causes so many other problems, because they're made to feel useless if they can't be productive, quote unquote, and do something for others. That's not their fault that they're made to feel that way, because when you're not useful, sometimes you don't exist, because a lot of people only care about you when you can do something for them. So they're made to feel that way because of cultural reasons. Well, then we complain when, it happens. These senators are all so old. All these people, the CEOs, people that are in charge of companies, people that are they never let go of their control. Yeah, and I agree that that's a serious, major social problem. But it's related to, because once they don't have control, they're useless and nobody cares about them.
Yeah.
So if we cared about people that, weren't useful to us and gave them value and honor, as we should always give to the elderly, then maybe they'd be more likely to relinquish to the next generation so they actually have their turn.
Right.
And we're going to have senators that are in their 90s, and there's perfectly good leaders that are in their 20s, or maybe not 20s, but 30s and 40s that have a lot to do, a lot of good things they can provide, but they're not letting go. On every level.
Yeah. With the church as well, maybe. But
actually, our bishops are relatively young.
Yeah,
as
a lot of ours
as
are.
a synod, yeah. And the church has an enforced retirement age.
For
bishops
is good.
And for priests even. Which, man, I wish the U.S. Senate had that. Holy cow! You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Holy cow!
Holy cow! Speaking of cows.
That's top 3, one of the worst transitions we've had in the show. Do we have any holy cows here to eat?
Yeah, we actually do. Shout out to The Grinder, a El Cajon classic deli, which I've never tried. Have you tried it before?
No, I haven't.
Have you tried it before?
Never.
Have you?
This looks
I've
really
never
good.
tried Grinder before.
Well, this looks unbelievable, bro. Honestly, It has avocado, has a
bread is
spicy
really
sauce
nice.
on the top and bottom.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brody from there for providing all this food for us. Him and the team. Thank you guys very much.
God bless you guys.
Let's see.
Put a shot.
Wow.
What do you think?
The spicy club. Oh my god. What sauce is that, bro? On the top and bottom?
There's like an orange one on this one. Looks really good.
How's the meatball marinara?
The meatball's good.
Yeah.
We played a stupid
Wow.
game this time.
Yeah. What do you think of the sandwich
so
out there?
good, man.
I know, bro. Unreal. How's the pasta?
It's good. Pasta salad.
Yeah, pasta salad.
There's a few here if you guys want.
Trendy or
is this
timeless?
thing always good, or is it just trendy? Is it temporary?
I think White
Thank you,
Castle
Thank
is timeless. It's always good.
Donuts after mass is timeless, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't do that at St. Michael's, unfortunately.
Why?
I don't know. I guess because there's not like our morning masses are in like Arabic and Surat, and we just don't have a lot of kids there. And the evening mass is in English, and it's like a morning thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Catholic tattoos.
I mean, tattoos are trendy right now, but they've been around forever.
Yeah.
This is such a fun
Including
game.
the Catholic ones, like the Holy Land tattoos. That's
Yeah,
been a
that's
thing.
been around forever.
Is it a sin to get a tattoo?
No. Calm down.
But the Bible
Yeah.
the Bible says.
Brothers, don't mutilate yourself.
One time this lady called me and she said, "You told my son." First of all, she said, I'm Chaldean, but I don't go to the Chaldean church. And she goes to another
way to
church,
start.
non-Catholic church. She said, "You told my son that it's not a sin to get a tattoo." I said, "Yeah, because it's not a sin." And she said, "Now he wants to come back to the Chaldean church." I was like, "Oh, okay. Well,
She sounds lonely.
yeah."
It can be a sin if you're doing something stupid or, like, of course, obviously evil, or if it's in bad taste or something. USA soccer is trendy. Nobody's ever going to think about soccer again.
Yeah. I don't think they will.
We only think about soccer once every few years or so.
I don't think they'll ever get there, bro.
Yeah, it's difficult.
You know what I'm saying?
Latin American,
I know for a fact I'm never going to care about it.
European teams, just chips.
No, I'm just.
A
Is
fork.
is there anything?
I don't know what else that you're
Are
looking
there
at
any
here.
club sandwiches left?
Yeah, right here.
Bro,
Here you
Extra?
go. Give him a combo.
do you like spicy or not?
Extra?
Yeah, give him
Yeah,
a
yeah.
combo.
Bro, the spicy one?
Do you all agree that the most important part of a sandwich is the bread?
I mean, it's very, very important.
Yeah.
This
Very
one actually
important.
has a lot of sauce.
Charcuterie boards.
boards. Trendy.
No, that's trendy for
one
sure.
Can you give that to me, please?
Bro.
I think it's the most overpriced thing on any menu.
My
Charcuterie
hands
boards.
are
Yeah.
clean. I wipe them.
What about this?
I'm gonna have the TY special, which I think is the turkey special. It seems much more friendly for someone like me who doesn't enjoy sauce all over my sandwich.
Birkenstocks. Yeah. Do you wear them?
Huh?
Really? I just started wearing
At
them.
home, I'm not a freaking homeless guy like the monks.
I basically only wear Birkenstocks. Sometimes I wear shoes.
I want to keep going with this game, guys. 1 second. Why is it taking you guys so long? The next one, you can't think about it.
Run clubs.
Hell no.
There's a Chaldean run club.
Yeah, it's
Out
cool.
there.
I've heard about it.
They invited me to go. I haven't gone, but it looks cool though. It's a cool thing. You know, they run and go get coffee after. I think Father Andy would love to do that, bro.
Yeah, right.
Go on a
I would love-
jog,
just like I would love pickleball.
go get coffee.
Pickleball is
Oh,
so much
pickleball?
fun.
Honestly, it has like taken over the world.
Which means it's a trend that's going to go away.
I know, but gyms are like building pickleball courts, like
Like, which one?
certain gyms.
Which gym?
Next podcast.
I want them to be over. I want there. I think there's
no, you
a
don't.
I think there's a bubble and it's going to pop and everyone's going to realize, wait, why am I listening to these idiots?
I remember a few years ago before
I'm not
podcasts.
including us, by the way.
I know.
No.
Before podcasts became popular, Father Andy had on his Twitter bio. I don't know if he still have it. I do not have a podcast.
Yeah.
Remember?
I had to get rid of it because of this freaking thing.
Priests on social media.
Timeless.
Sorry. Sorry, guys. Guys, I can't believe I've driven by this place so many times
Mhm.
and never gone there.
Where is it exactly?
Right here.
Cross streets? It's on First?
It's on
It's
Greenfield,
on
right?
Greenfield. No, Pepper.
Where is it, guys?
No, Pepper.
Not
and
Pepper,
Second?
not Pepper.
That's-
Second and
this is
Greenfield.
Pepper.
Second and
Second.
Greenfield.
Okay.
Mm. Very good. You know what we should try to get? Grandpa Tao. It's in that same area.
Oh, yeah.
Great pho place, and we can get banh mi from there maybe.
Hmm.
Like that place.
Grandpa Tao, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What about Grandma Beth?
Oh, nice. That was almost as fun as the game.
Wow, bro. All right. Yalla.
Good stuff.
See you guys.
Yeah, bye.